for a lot of young boys, especially coming over from New Zealand or from Samoa or Tonga, you know, it's daunting, you know, thinking of leaving your family behind, something that you're so used to, and going to a club and just imagining like there's no one there that doesn't understand, you know, the background that you've been brought up in. Well, probably even now you can see why there's a lot more players coming over that, you know, they're getting a bit more comfortable, that, you know, there are a lot more Islanders playing up here that they can come and learn off. And think back maybe 20 years ago, you know, there's probably only a handful that were willing to make the trip over. And I can think personally for myself, the first time I'm thinking of coming up here, you know, it was daunting, you know, thinking that I'd be so far away from home and so used to mum's cooking and all these little subtle things that, you know, you just don't, oh well, we take for granted being back home. But coming up here, you know, I think it's a blessing in disguise, being able to, one thing, grow on our own 2 feet, being able to, I guess, still have family here and make new relationships, because I think that's one thing with us Pacific Islanders, you know, we can tend to just stay within ourselves and mingle with each other. But, you know, I think lifestyle-wise and growing, you know, outside of whether it's rugby or in life, I think it's a great opportunity to come up here and get to travel around Europe and do new things that you probably wouldn't do back home.
We got a big, reasonably big group here, you know what I mean? And like you got to, like, obviously you got Charles, who's just like a bit of a freak on the field. We got Big Sione, who loves the music, and he'll play the music like all the time in the change rooms, no matter what. Siali's like the joker and stuff like that. Tussi's like the old man who runs everything. Chris, like, he's the quiet giant that just makes a cup of teas for the boys if they want it. But, you know, we've got a mix of Tongan boys, Samoan boys, and then, you know, some are from the island, some are Kiwi born, some are, so it's just a good mix. And then again, we bring our mix to the whole squad, and I think the boys love that. And obviously Pat's heritage too, and I guess we keep training reasonably interesting sometimes, because a lot of the times we just like to muck around at times and obviously train hard and be physical, but at times the boys love a joke. So I think that keeps the culture quite ticking over, that if someone does something stupid, the boys can have a good laugh and know that Pat's not going to get too angry about it. I was reading a couple of things, and Callum Sheed mentioned something about how he feels like he's coming to training with 40 of his best mates, and that's great, because that's what you need in a tough competition like this. And I feel like obviously my first year here, but you know, it's gone so quick, and we just had a great time doing it. I think, you know, if we look at the visions and what Pat's trying to drive with the culture and the team, community, you know, like, I think that's the backbone of any sort of village or any island nation, you know what I mean? Like, village and families first, obviously the village life or your family and community, and then obviously sports sort of comes after that a lot of the time, and they're just a good fit.
With any rugby team, you got to start with the culture, and you got to find out what you're playing for, and once you get those whys, why you play for, and strong culture around the squad, you're only going to build from that. And I think family is such a big thing within our culture, and I can definitely see it rubbing on the other boys, because we've only come tight as a family throughout every game in the season.
So I think I came at the start of 2017 here to Bristol, and I think looking at the team list, when you obviously get a contract, you know, you try and look for someone that you know, or hopefully someone that can help you through, get you through your time that you're there. And I think that was probably one of the main reasons when I did sign my short contract here, was obviously seeing the likes of Tussi and Jack, and I think I just knew transition-wise that would help me find my feet. And it's tough competition, you know, back home in terms of, you know, what these kids are growing up in. But you know, you're starting to see now, you know, a lot of these kids are getting opportunities elsewhere. You know, kids going to Japan. You know, there's a lot of young kids coming up here to France, to England. You know, obviously myself playing for Tonga. You know, it's a shame to see a lot of this young talent go elsewhere, but you know, I'm just happy for their families and for themselves that they, you know, can further their careers, whether it's abroad, away from Tonga or from the islands. I just hope maybe one day they'll be able to come back in and represent our home nations.